It is the Hometown Morning Show. It's Ori and Kyle. Welcome in studio, Shannon from Assisted Living Locators. Rough ride for you this morning, huh, Shannon?
Pretty tough.
Yeah, 14 freeway?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry about that. However, you are here and on time. You made it anyway.
We did. We're here.
Just like this much to spare, but it doesn't matter because you're here now and we can chat. You are from Assisted Living Locators. You are here in the Santa Clarita Valley and the Antelope Valley. And we need to talk about what exactly Assisted Living Locators is. It's extremely necessary for this area, I have to say, because it's very challenging when you all of a sudden, because I think part of us don't want to admit it, and part of us are, there's a little piece of us that might be lazy. We're not necessarily proactive as far as care for our parents or grandparents. We tend to let it happen, and then chickens without heads trying to panic, and what do we do? However, the nice and calm Shannon can tell us exactly, and when we get into that predicament, what do we do?
Well, the first thing is actually, I love how you said be proactive, and I try and, work with the people that I'm working with. Let's look at communities. Let's address this before it happens. Mm-hmm. But in the event that an emergency happens, if you call someone like myself, mm-hmm. An expert in the field, we're able to have a plan in place for you within, usually within an hour. I have people in the hospital that have a discharge and don't have a place to go, and they'll call me, and I have a home for them, a nice, safe environment that they will thrive in. And, within an hour, and the family's just so grateful.
Because it does happen that quickly. Even if you're proactive, mm-hmm. Something can take a turn. Now, with my father years ago, we thought we had everything handled. He was staying at his house, and he had in-home care. Mm-hmm. And then just like that, fell down, broke a hip. Now he's in the hospital, and now he needs more care. He has to go to rehab, and after rehab, they only keep you for so long.
Right.
And then you got to find a place.
Right.
And the place, it couldn't be his own old house because he had stairs. Mm-hmm. So what do we do, right? You're in a panic because they almost tell you on the spot, we're discharging your dad today. Mm-hmm. And that's, even if you're proactive, even if you had a plan in place and you had things going, your world can turn upside down in a dime. Mm-hmm. And that's where you come in.
And plans change. Absolutely.
That's where you come in. So you call Shannon, you call Shannon's people. And what is the best way? Walk us through, if you are being proactive. And so far, let's start with the very, very, very proactive people who have a handle on this, and they see that down the road something's going to happen here, so let's get a plan in place. Mm-hmm. Where do you start with it? So I'm talking about the people who don't need in an hour. In an hour. How do you work with them?
Well, typically I would schedule tours for them. I would talk to them and find out what their parents, their social, their budget, and their medical needs. And even if it's down the road, I have an idea of what communities would be best for them. Mm-hmm. And so then I typically schedule tours, and I work like a real estate agent with a case manager, kind of tied into all that.
Sure.
And I'll pick them up. I actually physically tour with them in my car, and we spend a couple hours looking at these different properties. And so then by the time they're done with me or I'm done with them, they have a really good idea of, what's out there and what they can expect.
What happens if, because we have such a great need, we have such a great need for this. Mm-hmm. What happens if you pick a place, they pick a place, they have it all set, but it doesn't happen for like a year, and when the time comes, there are no rooms available?
And that does happen. Typically you're going to be put on a waiting list. And there's things we can do if it is immediate, and we can get into that a little bit further, but we can put that, if we need to go somewhere and change, in a month or two, we'll have to do that if it's an immediate placement, or you would be put on a waiting list.
What is your best, if you were to map it out for everyone who is listening right now, our listeners in the car and they're driving to work, and they're saying, because I did it myself, I don't need this. I don't need to listen to this. This is not for me. There's no immediate need. Mm-hmm. And then in my life, things changed on a dime, right? Mm-hmm. What do you say to those people? What is the perfect scenario if they're listening right now and they don't think they need it?
I would typically say take an assessment online, and you can go to assistedlivinglocators.com, put in our zip code, and there's a free assessment. It goes directly to your email, and it'll tell you in the privacy of your own home what those needs are. And it's not just assisted living. They may say, nope, this person's independent. They don't need care. Or they may need assistance, or maybe in-home services. But that would go directly to your email and that assessment, so then that way you have a good idea just between you and the computer.
Completely private.
Yeah.
Because there are different levels of care. You have anything from someone coming into your home a couple of times a week just to make sure everything's in order. Your parents are bathing, they're taking their meds if they are on meds, or possibly just some companionship, all the way to nursing home facilities.
Yeah.
It can range
Definitely.
and it can range. Again, I'm speaking from experience. It can go from A to Z very quickly. If even if you're paying attention, some things can just happen. So what do you recommend? So we go online, we take the assessment, just be safe. If you even think your parents may be getting a little bit older and maybe you've raised an eyebrow a couple of times when visiting, things maybe weren't in order. Right? So you take the assessment, you have that. If they have any questions beyond the assessment, what happens?
Then I would advise them to call or, reach out to me or another company like myself. But, and then that way we can walk you through the next step.
Shannon, are you open to questions, even if it doesn't result in a placement, just for more information?
100%.
Okay.
And I pride myself on being that person in this community. I went through it myself. As you know, I walked through it with my mother and my late husband. And if I just had someone I could call and say, hey, this is going on, what are your thoughts? And I would love to be that person in this community.
You are that person in this community. Congratulations. Shannon from Assisted Living Locators. It is assistedlivinglocators.com. And a phone number, a good one to call?
661-544-1004.
661-544-1004. If you are in the car and you can't write this stuff down, it's not a problem. Two things. You can always call the station, number one, and we'll give you that information. Not a problem. You can go to hometownstation.com. Or how about this? We have this interview on YouTube. As soon as we finish, we give us about 24 hours. We upload it, and you can actually see and write down notes if need be. How's that, Shannon?
Wonderful. Thank you, Tori.
Have a fantastic 4th.
You too.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.